I'm so excited for this episode. Welcome to Processa Talks podcast, a podcast where we interview amazing, talented Black and brown artists. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting here with Kiarita, who I've been following for so long, and the universe magically brought us together. I want to say last week.
Yeah, at random. Like, we ran into each other on the street, like, just as I was leaving the show.
Yeah, and I've been wanting to see your work for, like, so long, and then we bumped into each other, and then you took me to your solo exhibition, which we're sitting in now, and I was so gravitated towards your work that I was like, we need to have a sit down.
And here we are.
Talk. So I'm so excited to get into these questions and get into the layers of your work. So firstly, one, I know you're an artist, you work with found objects, you're a painter. How would you describe yourself as an artist? What are the mediums you take up, and what are the titles and identities that you identify with? Yeah.
First of all, thank you for having me.
Yes,
I'm so honored.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like a multimedia artist. Like 100% I'm a painter, but these have definitely evolved way more into sculpture. And I think putting the show together helped me realize that the most important part of my practice is not actually the paintings, not actually the sculpture. It's the act of installation and the creating of a space and the act of interaction that is required from the viewer. Like, you really do have to be intimate with the work for the intimacy to be revealed to you. So I think it's just so important to me that we remove art from this pedestal that's like untouchable, unreachable, and so like deeply precious. And I really want it just to be familiar and inviting, and like you can be a part of it because you should be, because you are, you know?
Okay. So I want to get into all the openings and entrances into your work, and even in the physical way. But I want to start with like taking us back in time. Can you speak on your Dominican roots? And also, I know you grew up in Hackensack, New Jersey.
Yeah.
So can you tell us more about like your childhood, your upbringing, and how has that like influenced your work?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like grew up kind of an insular experience. Like, I pretty much spent most of my time around my family. Like, my mom was super protective. So like my cousins were my siblings, and like family and like devotion was so present in my childhood. So I feel like the sense of devotion that I feel for my loved ones just really comes from like my family, just they're riders, you know what I mean? But I think growing up, I think there was a lot of times that I felt like I wasn't seen, you know? And that kind of sort of led me to, in my adulthood, place a lot of emphasis on, you know, finding and redefining what family means, and like chosen family, you know what I mean? Stepping into queerhood really opened up a lot of doors for me in terms of redefining what loving feels like, redefining and being seen in general, you know? Yeah, there's so much to learn in loving. And obviously I'm so grateful for my family for like instilling that sense of devotion and that like, how do I say, just like, Dominicans are so passionate, you know what I mean? They like give you the shirt off their back, like, so, you know? And so that's kind of the energy I come with, you know? As an artist, I go by Kiarita because that's what my grandma's always called me as a kid, you know what I mean? So that's the place of love I feel like I'm coming from in making my paintings.
Okay, so also I'm Dominican, so there's like certain things that, I mean, even when I walked in here today, I was like, I love how it smells like my abuela's house in Washington Heights, because it brings me back. It makes me want to take a little nap.
Right, like, and you should. Like,
yes.
This space encourages that, really.
Yes.
Like, I really wanted there to be so much seating because I wanted people to be able to not only rest with the work, but rest with each other, you know, in this space.
Let's get in more into that. So the name of the exhibition that we're in now, we're in Hausen Gallery. Shout out to Hausen for hosting.
Yeah.
And the name of the show is called Home Body. Can you kind of dissect that language a little more and like conceptually, what does homebody mean to you?
Absolutely. So first of all, I'm really obsessed with that song called Homebody by Napalm. It's so beautiful. Like there's this line where she goes, home is in your body. And I think that's why, that's why I place the brackets in body because, I mean, I'm a homebody. I love to just chill at home, and obviously sleepovers are like hugely important to me. My mom ain't let me have no sleepovers as a kid. Like if it wasn't my cousins, like she was not having it. So I think I really emphasize that ability to spend time with my loved ones in that way now that I have my own space. So, all these paintings are just born from those moments. Everything is a natural moment. Nothing is posed for the most part. And I think just this whole show is based off of the feeling of finding home in somebody. You love someone and they kind of return you back to yourself. You learn so much about yourself and you learn so much about another in loving someone so purely, you know what I mean? And it's just the sense of safety implied in that type of loving. So there's home. It's not about where home is, it's about who home is, And
it's also about like people and energy and community.
Absolutely.
I'll never forget when you took me to the show that day when we bumped into each other, and you were talking about the work, and the first thing I noticed was that all the paintings were of people resting. And you said, oh, like this is my chosen family. So can you speak more about how you painted your chosen family in this work and like why?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so beautiful to watch somebody sleep. And also, there's a sense of safety implied in the ability to sleep next to someone and near someone, you know what I mean? I think also in general, we just have very little time to spend with our loved ones, let alone sleep near them, So I don't know, I just cherish those moments so much that I'm just like looking at them and I'm like, I just want to hold this moment for longer, So that's where the paintings are born from. Of course, like, they're sleeping and I'm taking pictures of them sleeping, but they all know, you know what I mean? There's definitely consent before and after, before the moment, they already know like I'm doing that, but I definitely check in with them before I make a painting and make sure that, everything's a-okay.
Where did that idea come from? I know you went to art school, right?
Yeah.
So did this practice of like painting your chosen family resting, did it come from when you were in art school? Like what made that idea come about of I want to paint people sleeping?
It kind of happened incidentally. I mean, I had like a couple pictures of my friends just because they look so beautiful. I just had it in my phone, and then I was in my third year at school and I was really interested in painting on wood. One of my teachers had introduced it to me, and I think there's a tension between the brush and the surface that happens in wood that allows for a lot of like just brush play and texture and just like lusciousness. So I really wanted to keep painting on wood, but I can't afford those wood panels, And my grandfather had just passed, so I lived with my grandfather for quite some time in Williamsburg, and which is where my dad's from, so but I was cleaning out his room, and he used to be the super for the buildings on my block, and he also just like on some like immigrant who came from nothing shit, like was a hoarder. So like I was cleaning out all his stuff, and it was like cabinet doors, bedside tables, like just the most random things. And so I just kind of started using that to paint on because it's wood, And I had painted a portrait of my brother on this cabinet door, and when I finished it, I was like, oh, this is quite a like beautiful meditation on home, So I kind of just began playing with that and being more intentional about the spaces in which the paintings occupy. These pieces have an intention, and so I definitely want to be mindful of the use of the piece in general, and I'm never going to paint somebody like on a tabletop or on a shelf where things can just go on top of and like, you know what I mean? It's a lot of, the works frame themselves, and a lot of the pieces have to be uncovered. So I think there's sort of like a protectiveness to that too, because they are such intimate moments. I think it's also super important that they frame themselves and they kind of create the context in which they exist and take up space in their rest as well. So all of that is super important to me, but it just is so sweet that it just happened by accident. So shout out Gilberto.
Okay, wait, because you're talking about, can we like, I want to show, like, can we open these pieces and hold them?
Yeah, definitely. This is my best friend from high school. She's like the coolest person I know. Wow. Literally, that's Danielle. This is Janae. Janae comes to see me about once a year. She lives in Texas. She comes with Kayla, and there's a matching box to this one in the other room, and Kayla's inside of it.
Oh my god!
But yeah,
but it's there's so many layers to this, because this makes me think of like this isn't conceptually even like embodying a home, of like a home is something that you have to open a door, there's a lock, you have to enter into it. So I love how like all of your pieces, you have to enter into it, and that's also this form of sacredness. Like anytime I step into, we all do this, right? Like, and it's also like cultural in a lot of ways. Of like, some homes you enter and you have to take off your shoes. Absolutely. And like, I know some people that like have come to my house and they're like, can I come in? Like, it's like, you have to be invited
intentional
into the space. And so I love how each work, it's like, also to have this experience is sacred within itself, to have the invitation to see this and also see people sleeping. I don't think this is really painted often. And also this, when you were describing even the act of rest, the act of sleeping, these images also kind of remind me of, the image of the two angels, the cherubs, like one is like this and the other one's sleeping. Like my auntie Michelle, shout out to her, she had that like painting above her bed, and it was like a painting in velvet. So it's like there's something also very angelic and innocent of seeing someone sleeping, and I love how you're putting also that lens on like your community of this angelicness, this peace that they have naturally. You have a lot of pieces.
Yeah, there's 33 in here.
Oh my God. Okay, one, can you tell me about the process of preparing for the show, choosing work for the show, making for the show?
Yeah, okay, so I had been in a group show at Hausen 2 years ago, and from there, from that initial studio visit, it was like solo show. Like, you know what I mean? And really it was just kind of about working out the timing. And so for 2 years, I've just kind of been building up this work pretty much until a couple months ago, Usen came and he gave me a date, and I was like, okay, perfect. And he checked in about a month before the show was about to start, and I was like, okay, I have 24 pieces. I think I'm gonna be like, I think I'll make 9 more. And he's like, are you okay? Like, he's like, 24 is enough. Like, 13 is enough for a show. And I was like, yeah, but it's fine. I'm like, but I don't know. It's go big or go home. And we went big and we went home. So.
Exactly, because we have whole body,
But yeah, it was just about really honoring as many moments as possible, genuinely.
Can you take me, because you just also described yourself, like how you work as an artist, and it sounds very intense. Can you take us into the studio with you? Like, how do you work?
Oh, okay.
How do you set up the studio? Is it like, are you, a night owl? Or like, how do you put on music? Like, what is the vibe in the studio? And do you like to work like that? Like make a lot of paintings at once?
Yes. So I have always been my whole life the first person to wake up at a sleepover. Like I wake up at 6, 7 a.m. So that's when I have the most energy of the day. So I go to the studio immediately. I have gotten into the great practice of cleaning up my palette before I go home. So usually everything's kind of clean for me. I make some tea. I just chill for a little bit. My studio just looks like an apartment. I have like it's like there's a couch, there's furniture everywhere. Like it's packed in there. But yeah, it depends on how I'm feeling that day. For the most part, I don't really listen to music because the painting needs to be listened to. Like I need to be fully present with the work, and understand what's going on. Sometimes if I come in the studio in a mood that isn't really conducive to the painting, I'll kind of start with some music that's either wordless or songs that I really, really like, just to get myself more comfortable. Yeah, and honestly, during the last month before the show started, I was in the studio so much that I hadn't realized how emotional it was to make these works. Because I only spent like maybe 20 hours at the studio at a time, but prepping for the show, I was there like every single day, like 5 to 8 hours a day. So shout out to my boss who let me have 2 weeks off. But yeah, I hadn't realized how emotionally taxing that was, and I found myself crying so often. So I just had to start listening to comedy shows and reality TV like while I painted. But in general, I do really need to be working on several things at one time, because if I'm only working at one painting, it becomes the entire world, and like every single choice is like the end of the world, you know what I mean? So it's just you become way too hyper-focused working on one thing at a time, I think. So I work on about 6 paintings at one time, just to give myself some breathing room. And also you learn different things in every painting, and then you can just take that back to the next painting. So really I need to be working on several things at once, just to keep my practice informed and keep my practice playful.
This is gonna be a hard question, because I don't want to be like, oh, what's your favorite work? But was there a work that like something new came out of it, or emotional, like you feel like more of like a magnet towards it here?
I love that one, In the Suitcase. It's the messenger of long distance loving. I was in a long distance relationship, so they're in suitcases for a reason. And it was just such a tender moment. I showed at Untitled in 2023, so we went to Miami together to just like, have a vacation.
Yes.
And yeah, it was just a really, really beautiful time. And that work also just had me thinking in a completely different manner. It's way more, it's the least amount of paint in a painting I have in this entire show. So I was just really playing with bringing the viewer into that scene a lot more. It's just fabric, it's just texture, it's just lush. And my lover's name is Gabriel, so that is just a religious quality in general. So I hung all those pins. But yeah, we're not together anymore, but that's still the homie for real. And it's just, that was such a beautiful, beautiful trip that it really just makes me emotional looking at it. And that relationship was also just opened me up to intimacy in such a way that I had closed myself off of for a long time. So I'm like, Gabriel set the bar high, let me tell you. I felt so loved in that relationship. So it's really just fondness looking back at it. And I think it's the most unique painting in the whole show.
I love that. I love how the show captures all these different relationships within your lives. I was also having a conversation with a friend recently, and we were talking about like relationships and friendships and how like, also I think something that everyone has to go through in their 20s is like a friendship breakup or breakups, right?
Yeah.
Like people come in and out your life, and I think I genuinely believe that we're meant to like, people are brought into your life to like teach you something, you gain something from it, even if it was painful or
100%.
So I love how this is also capturing like your community in a wide way, and capturing those moments in time with like people that you love.
Absolutely. I think something I really, really wanted to emphasize in this show is that platonic love is just as important as romantic love. Like you can't really tell for the most part the difference between who, like anybody who doesn't know me can't tell who I dated and who is my friend. You know what I mean? Because I hold that loving to the very same extent. And yeah, just like, bro, friendship breakups, it should be worse than dating. Like, I'm still kind of like, I'm still bleeding from one that I went through in the fall. And yeah, there's definitely relationships in this show that have changed since I made those paintings. And so, I think at the opening it was really overwhelming because I was like, okay, there's so much love here and there's also pain too. And I think for a second I felt like shit, like I failed at intimacy, But I was talking about this to my friend. She was like, well, like, if you failed at it, that means you wouldn't feel the way you do about it. You wouldn't hurt so much about it,
Right.
And yeah, it's just exactly what you said. It's all lessons and like, it's all love still, you know what I mean? Even if the love is not actively being shared, like, sorry.
Yeah.
Even if the love is not actively being shared, like that still holds a super important place in my heart.
Yeah.
I learned so much from those relationships and like I love them down still. Like I'll ride for him today. Like
right.
Now
so you're making me cry, girl.
One thing about me, I'm a crybaby, bro. Like,
but I mean, that speaks so much about your practicing your work and like, something that has been mind-boggling for me, like I guess navigating like art world shit is like people really try to separate art and personal, and it's like the work is a vessel for your emotions. The process is ritual in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
Like when you start painting, I'm pretty sure you're thinking about these people, what they mean to you, your relationship with them, love, and like really deep emotion. So like that energy automatically gets transferred into the work. Like the work is a vessel for all the things that you were processing. Like, and that's the thing, like walking into this space, you feel it. You feel all the energies, you feel all the love. And also love is very complex. And I keep looking at this book right behind you. Bell Hooks.
Oh, love, yeah, no, it's a classic.
Bell Hooks, all about love. You know what's funny is that I didn't finish the book, but my partner started reading this book and he finished it.
Period.
So he was reading it and he would, when you're reading a book and you're really excited, you're like sharing all the things you're learning. And there was this one chapter that he was telling me about, which was that love is honesty. And that goes into the complex relationships of, even if relationships don't work out, the fact that someone is coming to you with truth and not doing the flight route is love.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, it's like, that's what we need to like move forward as humans. Is truth. And also it's like, it's love and respect at the same time.
I mean, I'm always like, I think the thing that really changed my perspective on navigating relationships is understanding that conflict resolution is an act of love. You know what I mean? Like showing up to, because you're going to get into it with people that you love regardless. Like that's part of it. But through that, you learn, you become so much more intimate with another person. You learn so much about them. Like I'm realizing that like the most important thing you can do in conflict is be curious. Because, projecting what you feel and what you interpreted from the situation is only going to bring you back to yourself, And I get it. Like, relationships are so triggering. Like they can be such a mirror, you know what I mean? But in that same vein, you learn so much about yourself and you learn so much about the other person when you just open yourself up to like being curious about what the other person is experiencing and how y'all kind of, you know what I mean? And so anyway, conflict resolution really is an act of love, but it takes being honest with yourself to be honest enough with another person, and that's an everyday lesson,
Speaking on love, I want to get into like your future intentions with love. We're talking about like what you have learned from these very loving relationships and how you're ingraining love in your work. Can you talk about what are your intentions? Like, even dreams wise, like what love do you want in your life? Also, I'm thinking about how you're a Scorpio. So I'm very curious.
I'm a Scorpio with a Virgo Venus, so it's and a Libra moon, like, yo. So anyway, I will say, like, I think life has given me love that I could never even have imagined, you know? So I hesitate to say, like, there's a picture of what I want. There is a feeling that I want. There's a trust, a patience, a directness, you know what I mean? That I've experienced before and that I know is only going to be tenfold in my future. But I think really reflecting on how this practice started, you know, it's kind of a voyeuristic practice. And the first painting I ever made was of somebody that I was like deeply, deeply in love with. And I realized that the painting I made of them was sort of like an offering of my love, because I felt like the way that I felt and the strength of our relationship came from them. I think I kind of placed them on a pedestal and was like, there's no way that I'm the one doing this too. You know what I mean? You're doing this and I'm so grateful and this is what I can offer to you. So I think in the past I've definitely like aggrandized the people that I love and like made less space for myself in relationships too. But you know, I'm part of that space too. I'm like, there wouldn't be that space without me too. So I think just in this process, I've learned so much about taking up more space. It wasn't until recently that like I became a part of the paintings too, you know? It's really in the ones that with people that I've been in relationships with, that like you see my leg or you see my body intertwined with the other person, you know?
Now I'm gonna try to look for that.
Yeah, well actually this one is like the only one where I'm with my friends and my leg is in it too.
Wow.
So yeah, more recently I've been representing myself in that space of intimacy as well, but yeah, it's so interesting how I started off kind of removing myself from that and not seeing myself as worthy of someone worthy of giving such love as well, you know? Yeah.
I think I like how you emphasize touch and being held. Something I was thinking about was, there was this one time on the train and there was a bunch of like teenagers and they were like this on the train. Like, you know, but you know, like the New York teenagers.
Yeah, no.
They were like, they was like holding each other, sitting on each other's lap. And then it made me think, I was just like, I used to be like that. Yes. I used to sit on my friend's lap in high school. And then for some reason, I don't know if it was college or just trust dismantled or, you know, what it was. But, you know, I think it is an innate thing to hold one another in a lot of ways. So I love how you're emphasizing just the importance and like actual physical intimacy of being held.
Absolutely.
Also, even conceptually, I have thought a lot about the architecture of a chair. And this actually came from an interview that I did with artist Shabalala Self.
Oh my God.
Yes. And I see conversations happening here.
Did you see her play a couple years ago?
Yes.
Okay, but anyway.
Yeah, so I was interviewing her and she was making chairs. And the way that she described the chair, she was like, oh, the chair is a body. The chair has legs, it has a stomach, it has a back.
Typically arms.
Or like arms. And also like we were talking about how the chair is like, it's very maternal. Also the way that it holds you, it has a cushion, you can lean, you know? So I love also that relation that you're making between like the body and also the physical furniture of the show of, I'm literally being held by this chair and I'm around these paintings of also people being held in their beds or holding each other in like this act of like intertwinedness, Yeah, while you were talking, I was like, I went through a whole conceptual portal.
No, there's like no safer place. There's no safer place. And that's really the emphasis of the show. You know what I mean? Just gratitude for that place. And that's, oh, I'm about to cry again. There's gratitude for that space and that place. And also gratitude for the plastic on the sofa that my grandma had that my legs got stuck to every single time, but there was no better space, like, you know what I mean? No warmer space. So I definitely just wanted to bring it back to that as I also speak on the new forms of love. You know, it's all about it's holding space.
Exactly. And I'm also thinking about, like, you know, why do we get sleepy at our abuela's house? Or I call her mama.
Yeah, me too.
Mama. Yeah. Like, as soon as I walk in, and they'll give you coffee too.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, a nap?
Right, I think no, because they feed you and then come ma. Exactly. You got that itis, crazy. But even without eating, which is not gonna happen at your grandma's house, but without eating, like, you just get so comfortable. You feel so safe. You know what I mean? I remember, bro. I'm like, me and my ex, we did nothing more than sleep. Like, I never slept better than just like in their bed. You know what I mean? When you feel safe, shit, like, that's the place. You know, they say, like, not only from physical harm, but from like physical trauma, but like from emotional trauma, like the thing that heals you most literally is sleep. So, like, truly, that's your body, like, reconvening with itself. And so when you feel safe enough to be able to heal, like, that is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and then also that's like a political statement within itself.
Tight.
Of Black and brown people.
Tight. They don't want us to rest, like, for real. They want us to be cogs in the machine and like die. But it's just like, damn, like, we have to fucking I'm just holding space for those moments that we can find to be with each other.
Yeah, and also that's a way to spend time. I think I've been thinking about, like, my friendships and, like, how we spend time. And usually it's like, oh, let's get dinner, da-da-da. And for the past, like, 2 years, I've been saying, come to my house.
Yo.
Or can I go to your house?
Because it's like,
let's be on the couch.
I'm broke. Like, I'm broke. But also, like, cooking a meal together is, like, a labor of love. You know what I mean? And it's also, like, seeing people that you love being in the kitchen with you is so funny. It's so revealing about everybody's personality. Literally right after this, me and my friend are going to go cook dinner together. We're going to make tacos. Yes. But yeah, it's so beautiful and so warm. And it's just like, I have to say, like, my crib is like the hub. Like, everybody comes over. I'm super, super, super grateful for that. I mean, I live in my grandma's apartment. So it's just like, the warmth is super tangible. You know, it's like they don't do no repairs on my shit. So it's like, the bathroom may not have a sink, but it's got wallpaper that my grandpa put up. It's got the moldings.
That's what I was going to say. They slap a decoration on it. Be like, that's it. You just cover it up with a little sculpture on the wall.
Right. But yeah, it's so important to gather. And it's also important to gather outside of a capitalistic context, you know? Especially in New York.
Exactly.
The way everything costs an arm and a leg.
Yeah. And
like,
you could just invite the homies over.
Let's swipe that EBT card.
Yes, exactly. So, dreams. More dreams. I think the theme of this month is, like, dreams. Because I don't want to really talk about the impending doom of our politics. But it's really testing to the spirit. And so something even personally I've been trying to think of is, like, hopes and dreams. Hopes and dreams. What is it? Keep connecting. Because sometimes we forget because we're doing this and that and we're trying to survive and we're trying to make money and we're trying to just make sure our basic needs are met. But hopes and dreams. What are your hopes and dreams?
Hopes and dreams are that I can keep finding and nurturing this love that, like, inspired this entire show, you know? There's this, like, Marsilio Ficino quote where he's like, when you love me and as I love you, I lose myself and you return me to myself. You know what I mean? Like, I lose myself in you and then you return me back to myself. Like the purity of loving when you feel really seen, they remind you of who you are, you know? And like, you become uncovered, you know? And urged toward yourself. So yeah, may that love keep finding me, for real. But I mean, my dreams are just to like keep being able to nurture those spaces of loving, keep being able to make work like that. I'll go crazy if I don't. I really will go crazy. It is a channeling of energy that does need to be released. And I am a person that believes like everybody is an artist. And there is creative energy that is stored in us that needs to get out and be released. And we all have something that is we're inherently attracted to in terms of expression. So it's so funny to me when people, it's just like when people see my work and they're like, oh, I can never do that. I'm like, bruh, it's a muscle. Like if you spent 8 hours every day doing it for the past 8 years, like I have, like you would be just as good, if not better. You know what I mean? So it's so interesting that people have just this inherent doubt within themselves in terms of their creative expression. But I think this is also what I learned from being a teacher is like, I think so much about the creative process is really more about moving through fear than anything else. And I think just even like life is so much about moving through fear. Like I taught high school students last year, and they were so incredible. I think of them every single day. I miss them so much. But they knew exactly what they wanted to do. They were literally just waiting for me to give them permission to do so. They were like, is this right? I'm like, of course it's right. If that's what you want to do and that's how you want to do it, you know? Yeah, so I think so much of it is about moving through fear and not turning away from your fear, but looking at it, holding its hand, and walking yourself through it. There's so much to be learned about what makes you scared too. Like you learn so much about yourself. And you make yourself stronger. And I think that, you know, when you look away from your fears, you kind of bring yourself closer to them because you're not finding tactics to bring yourself away from them. So I don't really remember what the original question. Oh, it was about my dreams.
Hopes and
dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think also something I've realized is when I think I want something, it's really not that specific thing I'm asking for. It's really the energy I think it's going to bring me. So I've really just began to focus on the energy that I want rather than the person, place, or thing that I think is going to give that to me. You know, because it really is be careful what you wish for. Because I've gotten that shit and it has not brought me exactly what I desired, you know? But when I step back from those things and just kind of like focus on myself, like life will bring it to me, you know, in a way that I could have never expected. So I was just thinking about this earlier. I was talking to, when I used to work at this like brunch restaurant, one of my coworkers' friends came in and she's like so like esoteric. Like I was kind of telling her about the changes in my life and like just my anxiety about the future and not knowing what's going on. And she was just like, you have to respect the mystery. You have to respect the mystery because life is going to surprise you in ways that you could have never imagined. And truly, like, when I was 16, I couldn't have even conceptualized the person that I am right now. But I'm so grateful that I'm here. Like, I you know what I mean? I'm so within myself. So, yeah, hopes and dreams are really just to love, be loved, keep making my work. All I can hope is that the work is impactful, you know? Like, I think a good piece of artwork is something that holds you longer and something that you feel with, you know? But it's that Edmund Burke book on the Sublime and Beautiful, where he just says, like, sublimity is, like, arresting. You know what I mean? Like, a sublime work of art is something that you just cannot be present with anything else but what's in front of you. You know, like, it enraptures you. Yes,
you're like,
absolutely.
Oh, I gotta sit and watch
You're
it.
like here entirely and nothing, you're present with nothing else. So, yeah, it's all about presence, you know, and just being entirely in that moment. So,
yeah, I'm hearing to be present. To
Very
be
much
present
so.
and take it all in.
Yeah.
I love that. Is there anything else coming up that we should look out for, or just like intentions for the future that you're setting for yourself right now?
I mean, just keep playing. Like, I just want to keep playing and just discover, you know. That I don't know. We'll see with what's coming artistically. I have no idea. I have a residency coming up in the summer, and it's so funny. Like, I realize that a lot of the time when I paint, I'm like kneeling to the work, and it is so like.
Wait, so you're like on the floor kneeling and you're painting like that?
Yeah, okay. Usually, because these things are like, they're so heavy, I can't really hang them up until like, I mean, I don't hang them up myself, like this is heavy. So I usually kneel to the work, and there's like such a religious sort of, you know what I mean? I feel like also, somebody brought up to me the fact that they feel like altars.
Yes. Yeah, they are.
It's very, So it more to the point, I'm really excited that my residency is like, I get to stay and work in a church.
Whoa.
In Pennsylvania, like in the middle of a forest. So I'm really, really excited to just like be with myself and be with the work and play and think in new mediums and new forms and things like that. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But I'm also really looking forward to just like seeing more work and seeing what people are doing and how people are expressing. I think there's a lot of work about intimacy right now, and there's so many ways of channeling that. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But there's also like a little Easter egg that I wanted to talk about. Can you pass me that little Whitney Houston?
Yes.
Yeah. So this song, My Love Is Your Love, was legitimately playing while I was being born, like on the hospital radio. Yeah. So this is like my favorite kind of story to tell in the show. Every time I hear it, like I cry, my mom cries, like, yeah. It's such a beautiful song too, because her daughter Bobby is like in it, and she's like a little kid. She's like, sing mommy. Yeah, it's super sweet. Yeah, it's really beautiful. So
I love
shout out Whitney, rest in peace for real.
Oh my gosh.
But
you have some classics up on here.
Yeah, it's a combination of me and Usen's.
Nikki.
Yes, Nikki, bro. Nikki.
R.I.P. to Nikki.
For fucking real. Yeah. Audre too. Audre changed everything for me.
I just love how you also pay homage to all the feminine figures, also in like literature and poetry and music, also throughout these Easter eggs. I definitely see them, and that's what also drew me in. So yeah, shout out to you. I think your practice is so beautiful in the way that it intentionally honors, and then you also bring the viewer into these altars, because they are altars, of all these people that you love, but also like it feels ancestral, but it also you're honoring that chosen family of the energies that you naturally connect with, like in this lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, I think so much of it is also about like in these relationships, like breaking down those generational traumas that we inherit in, you know, our blood family, and just kind of like being more of ourselves through that, you know what I mean? And through that support that we create with each other to like unravel those things and make new. So, yeah.
Wow, where could people follow you, look into your work?
Yeah.
Shout out all the things.
My Instagram is Sacral Rise, SACRALRISE. This dude, like, where was it? I think on the subway, wrote me a poem, and one of the lines was Sacral Rise. Like, he was sitting there with his typewriter, and one of the lines was Sacral Rise, and I'm like, whoa. It came from a project that I did a long time ago. That photo will probably never come out, but it was a really, really beautiful work, and I feel really protective of it. But yeah, that's my Instagram. My website is scintillating.space. Because my work is so much about light. I don't know.
Thank you
so much for having me. I'm like, I feel
like I need to hug you.
No, for sure. I feel so seen by all the questions that you asked me. So thank you so much for receiving me.